Michael May. Welcome back to my channel. Doing something a little different today. I did do my everyday makeup routine like a few videos back, but I've been getting a lot of questions over on my Instagram about like what highlighter I'm using or what eyeshadow I'm using. And I noticed that I kind of like, I'll try something and then I'll like it and then I'll just keep doing that. And then my makeup routine kind of evolves. So this is where it's evolved to since the last time we checked in. This is kind of an updated everyday makeup video. This is the makeup that I do in all the videos I film here. So this is the exact same thing I do every single day. If you're new to my channel, I'm really glad you found this. It's kind of probably a weird video to land on if you don't know me very well yet. But if you found this video and you are new, welcome. I'm so happy to have new friends here. Head over to my Instagram, say hi in the DMs. You'll get to know me a little more there. I share a lot of like personal stuff about dating and life and everything on my stories. And I do more short form fashion content over on TikTok, a little bit of like self-love and body acceptance, stuff like that. But here I thought I would do this today because I have been getting a lot of questions about it, but I thought it'd be a fun twist if it was just like a chatty, get ready with me makeup thing. So I put a question box over on my Instagram stories and said, ask me any juicy questions that you want. I've been dating. I've gone through a lot of heartbreak over the past couple years, and it's been a really crazy last year for me, as it has for many of us. But for me, I found myself like alone and single for the very first time, had to get to know myself and learn how to be single for the first time in my adult life. And then I kind of put myself back out there into the dating world, and it's been quite a journey. Also been here on the internet sharing about my evolving journey, accepting my body, and I guess just generally growing, learning, changing as we all do. So this will just be addressing any and all questions that you guys have asked me over on Instagram as I do my makeup. If you are a returning BFF, I'm so glad you're here. Hopefully this is a video that you like, and I'd love to know what kind of other content you want because I want to be creating things that you guys are excited about. So let me know. So to get started, a little bit about my skin. I obviously don't have like that perfect skin that I see beauty YouTubers have. I think that's why I've had like a lot of hesitancy making beauty videos for a couple reasons. Number one, I think I'm probably a little bit self-conscious about my skin without makeup. Number two, I just don't think I have that like Instagram kind of face. Number three, I'm not really skilled at makeup and I don't really pretend to be a makeup artist. So I love hair and makeup and I always have, but I don't really do those like full-fledged editorial looks. I've always kind of kept it a little more simple and natural, I think. If you look back to earlier videos of mine, you can see that I have like lashes, lash extensions, and a lot more eye makeup. And like just, I guess over the past year, I've really toned it down and I just feel a lot prettier with just like natural glowy makeup. So this is where I've landed. I do not claim to be an expert. So if you're watching this and you think I'm doing things wrong, you can either comment below and correct me, or I apologize in advance. I have rosacea, I have melasma. One of the top asked questions I get is about my like permanent lip liner, or I get a lot of lip questions in general. I get a lot of people asking about if I've had lip filler or if I have permanent lip liner. The answer to both is no. I do not have lip filler. I do not have permanent lip liner. So these are my lips. I do notice like in photos, like I'll show you what they look like when I don't do anything. Like they're just, but I find in photos I push them out a lot, so they'll look more like this. Like I just naturally do that in photos. Probably a bad habit. I think it kind of came from like back in the duck face phase that never quite left me. So yeah, but I think what confuses people is like along my lip border I have melasma here, and it's just like sun damage. It's just like, I don't know, it's hormonal sun damage. I don't know what it is. I've had it for a few years and I actually am currently trying to figure out how to, I guess, get rid of it. I'm afraid to laser it. I've been kind of looking into options, but it is what it is and I live with it. In general with my skin, if you guys want a skincare video, I'm happy to share that as well. I don't want to get too much into that now because we're just doing our makeup. But I had tried like for the first time like a prescription dermatologist online service to work with my rosacea, but I just signed up for Curology, and I don't know if you guys have done Curology. I've never tried it, but I've heard really good things. So I just submitted my form yesterday. So if you guys want an update on what I got from Curology, what my experience is, happy to document that as well. I'm hoping to target like dark spots, wrinkles, some acne. I've got all this acne scarring here as well, just from constant breakouts, and rosacea. So if you guys want to see my real experience with Curology, let me know. I can share that as well. So to start, my skin is clean and moisturized. That's how I always start it. And I actually have been using the Glossier Future Dew serum for a while. Heard the company is questionable these days, which is such a bummer, but if you guys have any dupes for this, let me know. I haven't been able to find one. I know Glam Glow has something kind of similar. I know that there maybe is like a new L'Oreal or something that's supposed to be similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Glow stuff, but I haven't found anything that has this consistency of a serum that really gives me that same feeling that I like. So the first thing I do is put this all over my face. I really, really love it. I've been using it for a little over a year now, probably. Then since I have so much redness, I go in with Cicapair by Dr. Jart. I use this to kind of neutralize my redness. And you're supposed to just press this into the skin. I don't think you're supposed to like rub it. I've been corrected on TikTok. So let's get into our first juicy question, shall we? Okay, so our first question. So here's some of them. And the first one I have is, are you a real blonde? Well, you gotta bust me out. Yes and no. I don't actually even know what my real hair color is. I mean, obviously you look at people's roots, and so I'm pretty sure that my roots are just like a dirty blonde. Yeah, I think it's kind of just like an ashy, dirty blonde, light brown. Like this is a part that hasn't been highlighted at all, like my my scraggly little rat tail under bits. What do you think this color is? This is like, excuse me, this is my natural color. So maybe like a light brown to like dirty blonde. No, I'm not a natural blonde, I guess, but I've always, like I was white blonde when I was little, but I think it kind of turned into like a dirty dishwater blonde vibe to maybe a light brown. But I definitely have like a lighter hair. It lifts really fast when I'm at the salon and stuff like that. So I don't know what you want to call that. My next step is this Bye Bye Redness Neutralizing Correcting Cream. This is by It Cosmetics, and I'm using it in the Transforming Neutral Beige. I kind of use this as like my pre-concealer. When I do all this like together, like it takes maybe 10 minutes because I dab this, and I'm a lot faster, but we're chatting and then we're just taking our time. So I just put it on like the very red concentrated spots. Also, I've never really had dark circles under my eyes until the past few months. I don't know if that's just like what happens in life. If I haven't been hydrating, if I haven't been getting enough sleep, could be a combination of all those things, but if anybody has any insight on that, I'd love to know. So I kind of use this to neutralize anything I don't love, any like dark circles or redness. And as you can see, it's already making such a difference. And I use like truly the tiniest dab, and I just kind of use it to buff away the areas that are a little more imperfect. And then with this way, you could totally just use a tinted moisturizer if you didn't want to go in with a full foundation. I am using a full foundation. I found one that I absolutely love, which I'm going to be sharing with you next. I've been using it. I use this whole bottle down to the point where I've been like unscrewing it and scraping it on my hand. And so I'm opening a new bottle today. Woo, party! From popping champagne to popping foundation, I guess. That's another thing. Let's go into our next juicy question before we start our foundation. Okay. First of all, have you been married before? I have not been married before, but I have been engaged. I was engaged, I got engaged in like 2015, I think, or was it 2016? So I was engaged for 4 years or almost 5 years, 4-ish years, I want to say. 4 to 5. I'm really bad at math. But anyway, I was engaged actually. And I broke off my engagement in 2019. So actually, there's another question here about my relationship history. So I guess I'll just stress that I'm doing them one at a time. So have you been married before? No, but I have been engaged. And then I was in a very serious relationship where we talked about marriage. And I thought we were gonna get married, but we weren't technically engaged. Have you ever dated a much older man? This is a story time. So let's get our foundation ready because this is a story time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the foundation I've been loving is this It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation with skincare in it. Makes me feel a little better about myself that when I have foundation on my skin all day, it's helping my skin or good for my skin. Do with that what you will, but that's what I tell myself. So this, I was using, it says improves bare skin in 2 weeks. I don't know what that means because honestly, like it would improve bare skin in 4 seconds if you put it on right. It's not the point. So I don't really know. It's called Water Light Medium Coverage. I feel like it's a great, almost full coverage. It's medium coverage in that you can see your skin through it, but it's a bit buildable. I'm so happy with it. I don't want to wear like cakey face, but I do need a lot of coverage for a lot of this stuff in order for my skin tone to appear even. So it's important to me to have a lot of coverage. So anyway, previously I was using medium warm 32. And I went to Ulta and I got tested because I couldn't remember what color I had before, and I like tested them there, and I ended up getting medium neutral 33. I'm not sure if I'm a neutral undertone or a warm undertone. Would you comment below if you're an expert on this stuff, because I've heard both. I've heard both, and I heard it's about like the veins. And so my veins are mostly, can you see them? I feel like they're more blue than green. Yeah, they're definitely bluey purple. So I don't know what that means. I think that's not a cool, but it could be a warm to a neutral. So let me know. Wow, this brand new foundation. Look, I haven't even pumped her. She has not been pumped. So I'm gonna use this medium neutral 33 at Cosmetics Your Skin But Better. I'll link all this below. And again, this is a water light coverage. That first pump. Oh, I didn't even let you witness it. It came out before I was expecting it. You know what I'm saying? Has that ever happened to you? Ooh, okay. So got this. This is actually great to move into our next saucy conversation. Oh, I was going to tell you the story about the time I dated a really old man. So I have dated. So my ex-fiance was 10 years older than me. Before him, I was dating a guy that was 17 years older than me. And previously to that, like years ago when I first moved to LA, I went on a date with a man. I would wager him to be, I always say he's 86. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think he was knocking on 80's door. He definitely was not. I mean, maybe he could have been in his 70s, but that would have been generous. I'm just not sure at this point. His name was Jimmy. Hold on, let's get this foundation going. So I like to mix my foundation with, I love these Cover FX custom enhancer drops. This is something new that I got from Ulta a couple, maybe like a month or two ago. And I used to mix it with either this or my Dior Skin, this highlighter. So these are the highlighters I use, and I use them interchangeably. It just depends on whatever I grab first. I don't know. So you can grab it's just a little dropper, and I usually just add a couple drops to just make my foundation a little more luminous. That's just what I have found that kind of cuts the foundation, makes it look a little more natural skin-like. And then I just mix them with my fingers. Again, I'm not a real makeup artist, okay? And then I just dab it on my skin, kind of all over, very lightly, like try to keep it as light as possible so that it blends really naturally. And then I just place it on my skin with my fingers. So back to Jimmy, okay? My friend Jessica was seeing this guy. She moved here with me, and we lived together from Nebraska. And she was seeing this guy, and he invited us to a pajama party, okay? So we go in the Hollywood Hills to this mansion, and it is all old men and young women. And you see these old guys, I'm not talking guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm talking 60s, 70s. We're talking old, okay? So we get to the door and we see this other old man come, and he's getting turned away by like an old bouncer, and he's like, you know the rule, Dick, you can't come in here if you don't bring a girl. Like this, it was insane. So this is up in the hills of Hollywood. This house, it's all like young women and old men, and that should have been my first clue to run, right? But I was just like, I think I had never experienced anything like this. I have a lot of stories like this from when I first moved to LA. So if you ever want story times from the wildest nights in LA and like the craziest experiences, do let me know. I think we all have these stories if you've moved to a big city from not living in one. And it was interesting. The house was stunning. So you get inside. After I place it, after it places the foundation on its skin, I use the It Cosmetics Skin Smoothing Complexion Brush. It's Heavenly Skin, so it's also by It Cosmetics. I just like the angle of it. And I just use this to just like help press it into my skin. And I find that it just like basically sucks to my skin and makes a second skin. Like, can you see that? It's like all of a sudden my skin is perfect and I've barely touched it. So I really, really, really love this combo. So we get into the house, okay? And there's all these pictures on the wall of him with every celebrity you can imagine. Like musicians, actors, like Nicolas Cage, and like from like old to young, like everybody in the business, okay? The business. And like all over the wall. So it was something else. On his patio, there was like this huge pool, and the whole city, because it was like above the whole city, So I meet the host of the party. His name is Jimmy. He's an old man. He tells me he discovered some really famous band like Van Halen or something. I don't think it was Van Halen. I can't remember. Don't know his last name. I meet Jimmy, the host of the party. Yeah, I don't know, we hit it off and he's like, what are you doing here? What do you want to do here? And I had moved to LA to do writing actually, and improv comedy. So I moved here to do copywriting for advertising and portfolio school. I was working at a marketing agency, and then I wanted to do improv comedy. So I was taking classes at the Groundlings. So I just told him, you know, and he's like, well, I've got some jobs that we could do some writers. Okay, this is the classic thing. This is actually a warning tale, and I'm sure a lot of girls get this, so please be careful. Don't fall for this stuff. But of course, under the guise of like meeting to talk about my career and who he knew, I fell for it, and I agreed to go to dinner with Jimmy. This old man's name was Jimmy, and all of his friends, whatever. So I meet Jimmy to go to dinner the next week. And I told all my friends where I was. It was like daylight, and I'd already been to his house. So I went to his house, which in hindsight, probably not the wisest thing to do. But anyway, I do not recommend, but I'm just telling my true tale, okay? Now I'm gonna go with my concealer just to hit the under eyes that are a little dark again, and then any like acne or scarring. Like I've got a little bit of a zit here that could use a little more coverage, why not? But I'm mostly going in on these like dark spots under my eyes. So I'm gonna go in with this with this Cover FX Power Play concealer. And I'm using the shade P Medium 1. Again, I'll link this below. This was recommended to me by the girl at Ulta. She just said it was amazing. So I just do like a couple dots under my eyes, like, and go up here to kind of give like a lifting effect. And then I'll put it on anywhere else that needs like, you know, attention. Just depends on the day, like where the flare-ups are, but it's not too bad. So I'm kind of just gonna go with this. So I meet Jimmy at his house, okay? It's early. Jimmy wants to go for the early bird special, and I'm like, it sounds funny, but like, no, it wasn't. But anyway, so we go to his house. We go down the hill to this restaurant that he goes to all the time. Apparently he's a regular. We get there, and I'm not joking you. Jimmy asks for the legitimate, literal early bird special by name, okay? So he's like, we'll have the special, please. Okay, the special includes, I think maybe a glass of wine, a salad or a starter, a dinner, and then a dessert. And Jimmy, we talk a little bit about career stuff, but mostly Jimmy's talking about himself. And I still don't get enough information to piece together who exactly he is and what exactly he does, but we talk. But mostly, Jimmy's falling asleep at dinner. Maybe I'm a very boring dinner guest, but I think Jimmy's just 86 years old and it's past his bedtime. So we're eating dinner and Jimmy starts to snooze, and I'm not kidding you. First of all, he reaches across the table to hold my hands. That was off-putting to me. I didn't know what to do. I was a young girl in my very early 20s. I didn't know, okay? The waiter was like a guy probably my age, and I could see him looking at us like, is this her grandfather? What's going on here? And I was mortified, but anyway, so Jimmy starts to fall, the snooze moment, right? So we'd had our dinner and the cheesecake comes. I'm like, Jimmy, don't forget your raspberry. I like didn't know what to say. And I was like, look, there's a plump raspberry on that cheesecake. Don't you want that? Like, I honestly didn't know what to do to like wake him up. Barely got through dinner. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this. I love this. This is not actually a beauty blender. This is actually the super sponge. I really need to clean mine. They sent this to me a while ago and I tried it and I loved it, but now they have like a version 2. So I think I might actually buy their next version, and they have like a sponge bath, which is like the cleaner for it. Clearly I need it, but I've been using this like switched over to this one for about a year. It has like silicone here and then the sponge here. So it doesn't absorb and eat your product as much. And I find that it just glides so much better. I really, really like it. So I kind of just use this to lightly dab to blend in that concealer. And then if there's any extra product on the sponge, I use that to kind of prime my eyelids. It's just a lot easier than going in and doing all that. I'm too lazy to do all those things. We get back up to Jimmy's house. First of all, like, I don't think we're gonna make it. We're going up this hill. He's got this huge Mercedes and he's swinging it around. And I was like, I was terrified for my life. That one glass of wine did Jimmy in. I was like, Jimmy, can I drive your beautiful car? Like, I was like, okay, maybe if I drive, we'll be safe. He wouldn't let me. We get back to his house. I'm like, thanks for dinner, Jimmy. I've got to go meet some friends. This was so much fun. Like, thanks. You know, I'm thinking like, I'm never gonna see this guy again. And he gets dirty. He's like, first of all, I forgot to tell you at dinner, he started telling me dirty stories about, this is when I was like, oh no, this is a dirty old man. He started telling stories about he went on a date with some girl on New Year's Eve, and like, then it turned into like a strip club. I don't even know. And he was saying that she was on her period. It was way too much information. Okay. Ew. Anyway, I've learned a lot. Okay. We've come a long way. So we get back to Jimmy's house and I'm like, Jimmy, gotta go. Like, thanks so much. And he's like, no, you need to come in for a nightcap. And I'm like, no, actually I don't. I have to meet some friends. Like, I've got to get going. I've got plans. And he's like, but we were just getting started and I'll make you breakfast in bed, and then like winks at me. Ooh, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to go. So I like just run in my car and go down the hill. Jimmy calls me every couple days for the next month. My friend sent me, one of my biggest regrets in life is not saving the photo of Jimmy and I. My friend, do you remember like Photo Bucket back in the day? My friend sent me the link to that night's Photo Bucket through the guy that she was seeing that like invited her to the party. And there's like pictures of like me and Jimmy and his friend, and they're literally old men, okay? Like I really wish that I had this picture. So every time Jimmy would call me, he would sign off with just like this, over and out, Jimmy. Like he would sign off as if it were an email, as if he was like an announcer, as if he was like a radio DJ. Like it didn't make sense. That's my story about Jimmy. Never talked to him again. I'm absolutely sure he kicked the bucket. Absolutely. Oh, I have another old man story. Whoa, this one's good too, but maybe I'll save that for another one. It was actually a celebrity, an actor, older man that pursued me. I kept seeing, and anyway, I actually just found out, unfortunately, he did pass away. If you want to know that one, just let me know. Also, comment below and let me know if you have any stories like this, because this is getting wild. In all honesty, I've always been attracted to older men because I feel like they are more mature, they have their stuff together, they're like more willing to commit, but that's actually not true at all. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to my questions and see what is next. All right, so Shannon asked she said she's new here and what did I do before becoming an influencer? So I touched on that a little bit. I'm gonna go in with my blush now, and for a while I was using Glossy's Cloud Paint a lot, but I've switched over to this Pixie on the Glow blush for summer. It's a lot more dewy. If you want something more matte, I would go with these. So just for today, I'll show you both, but I kind of toggle between these two. One of the downsides of the Pixie is that since it is so dewy and like almost has kind of an oil base, similar to the Milk Makeup like blush, if you've ever used that one, sometimes it can eat away at the foundation. If you're wanting a lot of coverage, it can kind of eat away. So I'm just gonna mix Cloud Paint in Puff and Dusk right now, just to show you. So here's a little new technique that I've adopted. Apparently it's from Madison Beer, LOL. But whatever, I really, really like it. So I'm just gonna mix those two. I mix them here, and I'm just gonna carefully just dab them really, really lightly because I don't wanna take away that coverage that I did. So I'm really, really gentle with this. And I kind of do it in like an upwards oval along the cheekbone line, going from here. So it's kind of like hitting the apple of the cheek and going up into an oval. I just think it like just looks cute and like flushed and fun and like summery. So what did I do before doing this now? So actually I started, like I said, I was doing writing, improv comedy, stuff like that. And I got laid off about 1.5 years into living in LA. And from that moment on, it has been like a crapshoot, adventure, connect the dots, wild journey. So from there, the bookkeeper at that company taught me how to do bookkeeping. So I worked for her, and then she referred me to work at this baby store on the beach. So I was like working retail, and that's actually how I met one of my really good friends who was my manager. One of that family was connected to someone I was nannying for. The bookkeeper like connected me with someone that I nanny for. They connected me with the friend. So I was like working, I had 9 jobs at one time. And I think a lot of us who move to a big city really have that hustle. So I was nannying for 2 families. I was working retail. I was doing a lot of like side jobs, like side writing, side anything I could get my hands on. And then I ended up working for a blogger here who does like design and stuff like that. And she did like some fashion, some graphic design, some like just colorful design focus. So I started working for her, and through that I like really got experience on photo shoots, and any kind of bit of this sort of industry was my first taste of that. But at the same time, the family that I nannied for had a baby, and the mom was an art director for Disney. So she would bring me on set, or she would have me bring the baby on set to visit her if she was working. And so one time I brought the baby on set, the baby was asleep, and I just asked, because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, hey, can I help anybody with anything? That's kind of like how I feel like if you're looking for any kind of advice on growing career, growing anything, like just be helpful and just be curious, and it will lead you in directions that you never imagined. So after I did the Glossier blush up here, oh, I forgot my trick. So here's the trick. It's not a trick, but like, here's the thing that I feel like has given me like, I don't know, I really feel like it's made my look just so like juicy and summery, is I add a little bit to my nose. And this is what I heard Madison Beer does, which whatever. So I kind of add a little bit to this region too, like where you almost would have natural freckles. I would love to like play with freckles. I actually have Freck. and I've never played with it, but I'm just scared because I'm just like also lazy and don't have time, and if I mess it up, I don't want to have to redo everything. But it's in my drawer right now. Should we mess with it right now? No. Well, I'll play with that, and then if you want a tutorial on that, I'll do that. If I even master it, odds are not good. But anyway, so this just kind of gives that natural little like flushed all over moment. Another note, if you have skin like I do with like rosacea or redness, a lot of times people shy away from blush. They're like, I don't want to have more redness, I don't want to draw attention to my redness. I think it helps redirect the redness in a way that's like even and looks better. So I highly recommend doing a little color correction and then adding blush, because I think that that has really actually helped neutralize that for me. Just my 2 cents. So I was on set. I'm going in now with the Pixie on the Glow Blush, and I'm just gonna do this a lot lighter, but you're gonna see, so do you see how this one's like a little more matte? This one is a lot more like shiny, oil-based, wet. I really, really love this though. What shade is this one? I don't know, but you can see like the outside color is this color. This is Fleur. I love this. Like I truly love this. I've been using it a couple months now. I just think it creates just such a shiny, beautiful, like glowy skin. Can you see the texture with like the light there shining? It just like mimics your skin because it really sinks in there. I just think it looks so good. So I'm going in with this now, like I said, 18 times. So I asked if there was anything I could do to help, and the prop stylist on set that was decorating was like, yeah, can you actually pick out whatever sheets you think would look good with this? And I picked something very out there. It was like almost like pattern play, like it was the same color, but it was something that was probably more of an unexpected twist. And she's like, I never would have picked that, but that really works. I think you have an eye for this. And I was like, thanks. And so she's like, can I get your info? Like if you're ever looking for extra work, I've been looking for an assistant. And I was like, okay. So I asked the mom, the creative director, and she's like, absolutely. She's like, I've actually been thinking you have a really great taste, and I really think this could be a career for you. You should definitely go for it. She was so supportive and nice, and we're still friends to this day. And so she contacted me, like I like hit her up, and then she contacted me back and was like, hey, I'm actually going out of town. I have a big job for Sony. Would you be willing to do it? And I was like scared out of my mind. It was the most money I'd ever seen for like a day rate, which now of course is like not that much money, but to me I was like, wow, that's so much money. So it was a TV commercial which aired for Sony, and I had to like, it was a kid's birthday party. So I ended up staying up all night baking these cupcakes and this tiered cake, making like a little banner for on top of the cake, and making all these little birthday crowns. Like it was so cute, and it was just shot at this little house in like Echo Park or Silver Lake or something. And it was just like a kid's birthday party for a Sony camera, and it had that really cute song Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. It was so cute. And that was my first big job. So I started doing prop styling. I ended up doing that for quite a few different projects with her. So next we're gonna go in and do my brows. I use a mix of different brow products. I have been using some from European Wax Center, which I actually posted a brow tutorial over on my TikTok and Instagram recently. I've been using precisely my brow pencil by Benefit for a long time, but most recently I found a 2-in-1. So for me, like kind of like how I use the concealer as also like a primer. Like I'm traveling this weekend. I don't like to travel with a big makeup case. So I like products that can do 2 things in one as much as I can, which is kind of like, you can use this for like lips and cheeks, for example. So another product I found that I think has a great dual purpose is this NYX or NYX Professional Makeup Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I think I saw this on the TikToks and I was impressed with it. So I actually have been using this to do really fine strokes on my brows, and I use it as a super natural liner. So I'm gonna go in and do that now. To end my last story, I'm trying to like prop my mirror up because I'm gonna have to like look to get a little bit closer to do my brows here. To end that last story, I then ended up like continuing to do all those things. Then I ended up working as a creative director. So instead of just styling the props on the shoots, I started directing photo shoots and video shoots. And then I started my own agency. So I was doing content creation for brands where I would create their editorial calendars and shoot. It was mostly products, and I would shoot all of their content for Facebook, Instagram, all the different platforms that they would use. And then I had like 9 clients at once, and so I would work with a photographer. I had a studio downtown, and we would just like pump out content, pump out stuff. So I did that for a while, and then I started posting pictures of myself online. When I first, like, I used to wear all black, head to toe. I didn't know what size I was. I'd only wear stretchy pants. I was not, like, I didn't dress stylish. I didn't dress in ways that I liked. And then I just one day was like, I started following body positive influencers and people that were plus size and stylish, and I was like, wait, why don't I do that? I used to think that until I lost weight, I couldn't be happy. Until I lost weight, I couldn't live the dream life that I wanted. And so I just went and bought the wildest outfit I could think of. It was like a pink, it was a gold lame pantsuit with like a cape top. And I went and wore it to Palm Springs and took some photos. And then I posted another photo in this dress. And the company that made it reached out to me within like right away, reposted the photo, invited me to be a part of a campaign. And then a few months later, they flew me to New York to model for them. And I've been doing that stuff ever since. It's within a few months that took over everything else. And I decided to just, I had a little bit of savings and I decided to just go for it. And I started creating all the content that I was doing for clients for myself and just trying to give it a shot. And I think it just happened to be the right time, and plus size fashion was really starting to take off. And yeah, so I've been modeling and doing influence stuff ever since. All right, so I'm gonna go in and do some strokes. It's tough because I wanna show you, but I also need to actually be able to see. Oh, also I've been using this Bea Daily Hydrating and Setting Mist. You can see that there's not very much left. I use this every single day. I was using a Pixie one. It just has aloe vera, hyaluronic acid, squalene, green tea, and caffeine. And you can use it as a facial mist, like after you do your skincare, or you can use it as a makeup setting spray. So I usually use it like after I've done my blush. I kind of just use it. Have you seen that like ice water trick? It's kind of like, it feels so good. Kind of along the lines of that. It just kind of helps set your makeup, and I like to use that kind of periodically. Gosh, that feels good. Let's get into our next juicy question, because I haven't gotten super juicy, and there are some juicy ones in here too. Somebody asked me something inappropriate about physical stuff. We'll skip that one, but okay. Oof, yikes. When I read this one, I'm kind of like, but what's your dating history like? I'm invested in the Sparky situation and I love your videos. So those who are newer and you've only been seeing me dating the past few months, I have had a really tough couple years. Whew, it's crazy. I talked about it on TikTok. So I did have a TikTok where I gave my like 60-second relationship history. But in a nutshell, I haven't had a very good relationship history. I haven't really had a healthy, good relationship at all. So I had like a high school sweetheart that passed away, and I thought we'd be together forever in a motorcycle accident. And I dated someone that was really physically and verbally abusive. That was like a pretty dark chapter. But when I moved to LA, I met someone, and that's the person that I was engaged to for years. And he is still a good friend of mine. I care very much about him, but I feel like our relationship was more of a friendship, and he also had some issues he had to work out for himself that I don't want to publicly state like what he was going through, but it was definitely took a toll on our relationship. And I think that I was in like a toxic, unhealthy, I don't know, I'm trying to like word this delicately because I care about him and his family, but he was going through some dark things that he would take out on me, and it just wasn't healthy and it wasn't good. And I stayed in it for way too long. So that relationship ended in 2019, and I immediately dated someone else that I met through social media, and I thought that person and I were going to have a life together. You know, it was like very quick. We got matching tattoos, on our like second date. We decided immediately we were going to be together. It was a wild whirlwind. It caused a lot of hurt to my ex-fiance, and that was something I had to work through. And this person turned out to be nothing like I thought they were. I don't want to, again, get into details. I want to like, you know, remain respectful, but long story short, they were unfaithful, but in like a, you know, there was like a lot of deceit, a lot of deception. It ended up kind of involving my world and people that were in my industry and world, and it was just probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. So I'm going to go in here and, oops, ooh, this is hard to use this as my mirror, but I'm gonna try. So I'll just do you see like that seems scary here, but how it really blends in with my hairs. The color here is ash brown. Yeah, so things didn't feel good. We got split up because of COVID. Actually, the border is shutting, and we were together. He was living here in this house with me here in LA, and the border shut. We weren't able to see each other, and things just started to feel weird, and I started to get all these intuitions that I ignored. There was like a lot of gaslighting, a lot of like stuff going on, and then the truth came out, and it was probably one of the most painful periods because I had been in a relationship my entire life, like since I was young, and I didn't know what it was like to be alone. So I think I was very codependent. I relied on a partnership to define me, and I found myself not only alone for the first time ever, but during quarantine when I couldn't even see my friends, I couldn't do anything. And it was one of the darkest periods of my life to be completely isolated, completely alone, couldn't even travel to see family, couldn't do anything. It was really, really, really hard. And I could barely work. I could barely function. There were days I didn't get out of bed. And it was a long, long, long quarantine. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing really small hair-like strokes here. I just like the lightest touch. And I'm really only going in places where I want to fill in the sparseness. So you can kind of see, I'll do one brow and then you can see the difference. Another thing, I've been loving laminating my own brows at home. I haven't, it's like way overdue, and that's what that's the only way that I'm able to get my brows to really stand up, because they don't want to like brush up as much as some lucky, fortunate girls' brows do. So I'm gonna try to get up in here and see how much I can do. So immediately after that, so I tried to heal for a bit. I did like recovery groups. I did so much work on my self-therapy, like you name it. I also tried to dig into like my childhood stuff to see what in my past made me continue to attract partners that didn't treat me well and made me feel like if I didn't have a relationship, I wasn't whole. So if you guys want more information about this stuff, I can do a whole video on like how I discovered like self-love and self-care and how that really got me through one of the darkest periods of my life. Like truly, it was even darker than when I lost my partner in the accident. Like it was insane. That's getting a little smudgy. I'm trying my best here. It's tough without him here. So after that, I took some time to heal, just a little bit though, and I had a guy friend that kind of, I guess, helped me through things and convinced me like, hey, let's go on a date. Like I've really had feelings for you this whole time. Like you deserve someone to treat you well. So I agreed to go on a date with him, and this was like in the fall of last year. And so we dated. He didn't live here. He came to LA. We had such an amazing time. I decided like, what if I'm choosing the wrong kind of person? What if somebody like this is better for me? And I really let myself kind of fall into this thing. And then I found out, my intuition started to talk to me again, and I found out on New Year's Eve that he was married and has 2 kids, and has been married and has had 2 kids the entire time I've known him. And it's been a huge lie for years. Friends of mine have met him. We had mutual friends. Like, I don't know how we got away with this. Wow, so much to share about this. So yeah, that was the final straw for me. I was like, okay, universe, God is trying to teach me something here. Like, I am not fit to be choosing partners right now because I'm obviously wounded. So I took some time and I stopped dating completely. Like, I decided to not have any contact with any men whatsoever because I didn't really have any guy friends, and I just stopped and I healed and I focused on my girlfriends and I focused on my health and my work and just, you know, really let myself feel all the feelings. And I also was like, okay, what is causing this? Like, I got curious. You can already see that it's a lot more defined. I like it when you can kind of see the skin through, because I think that makes it look more natural than like just blocking it in with a lot of like color or powder. So now I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix, and I'm just gonna brush up, try to get those little sprouts going, and just lightly and gently brush this up so that it's all as like brushed up as it can be. I really like to focus on these little sprouty guys. So I block the guy on every platform, phone number, whatever. Healing, healing, healing. He just sent stuff to my house all the time because unfortunately he had my address. So he would send me flowers. He would just send me food randomly, gifts, anything you can imagine. And it kind of died down for a little bit, and then it started ramping up a little again. I want to say 2 months ago, right as I was starting to date again. And he showed up at my doorstep, and I haven't actually said this on social or out loud, I don't think. It scared the bejesus out of me. I saw it on my Ring doorbell that he had come by, Emily was here, and he came by and dropped off flowers and a note and coffee. And I thought, flower shops don't deliver coffee. And so I looked at his Instagram from Emily's account. She looked him up and she's like, that looks like the guy that dropped off the flowers. I'm like, that was not a delivery guy, it was him. And I saw that he had just been in a town nearby, and he was in Vegas. And so I was like, it's drivable, it's possible. So he, yeah, ended up driving here and showing up at my doorstep. Then he showed up again, and we ended up having a conversation just because I'm like, I need to know that he's not here anymore, and I need to know that he's gone. I had it on my camera, Ring camera and everything, and we talked, and it was just wild. But I realized how much I'd grown because I wasn't falling for his lies, and I was just like, sir, like, you are still married, you still are actively like in a relationship. And it was like, I'm not going to be the reason you leave your wife. Like, you need to deal with your own stuff. And I realized upon seeing him, like, I don't want a part of this anymore. I just want to be in a happy, healthy relationship. And since I've grown, I think I'm now ready to attract an actual healthy partner. And that is why I've been sharing so much about my dating journey, because it's been a freaking journey. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the brows. Can you see like how much different? So this guy is just like, you know, whatever. And I just feel like, yeah, this is what I like them to look like. So I feel like if you look, it just makes your whole eye and face like wake up. So I'm pretty happy with this brow job. Let's do the other side. Okay, let's go to our next question. Both of our brows are done. We're gonna do some eyes and then we're gonna do our lips and then we're pretty much done. Okay, so I'm looking. So we got a lot of questions about Sparky. They're asking about why I call him Sparky, if you've missed that. How did we meet? So let's start with that. There's the most asked questions about Sparky are, does he follow me on Instagram? So maybe I'll just give you guys a little history because that's more of something that I've talked about with my Instagram audience. And if you are mostly a YouTube or if you came here from TikTok, I don't know where you guys came from, but I call him Sparky because, well, let me start at the beginning. I met a guy on Hinge. So I'd been on 4 dates from Hinge and Bumble, and none of them led to second dates. If you guys want to hear any of those funny dating stories because they were interesting, let me know. But on my the fifth person I talked to is this guy, and he definitely wasn't my physical type. I don't really have a physical type, but I just never dated anyone like him, and it just never occurred to me like that I would, I don't know, go for, I don't know. He just wasn't anything I'd ever thought about. Also, someone's asking like what he looks like. Okay, so if you were to, I guess, like, if you want to know what he looks like, people are like, will you show us a picture of him? I have posted pictures of him over on my Instagram, but with his face blocked out, so that doesn't count. And obviously, like, I've kind of alluded to him in these vlogs. I'd say he falls somewhere between Duck Dynasty, Jason Momoa, and maybe Chris Stapleton kind of vibes. I don't know what other guys have like long hair and like bearded situations, because that's the most I've actually even told about him. I haven't even shared that much physical info, so you guys are the first to hear it. I don't know, I'm just very precious and protective of this, like even talking about it, I'm like, ugh. And the reason I'm like that now that you've heard my relationship history is because I have been very open and public with my previous relationship, and it really bit me in the booty, and I just don't want to do that again. I just want to be protective and take it slow and make sure I'm really sure about this person before I integrate them into my life in this way, because this is, you know, one of the biggest parts of my life. And I kind of felt pressured to do it earlier before, and yeah, it really hurt me in a lot of ways, and a lot of people would come and ask me questions, and it was just too much too soon. So I just have been a bit protective, and I want to make sure that it's something that's going to stick around before I integrate him and introduce him, and I'm just, you know, being protective of his privacy as well in that way. So yeah, that's why that is. But this is Laura Mercier Caviar Stick Eye Color. It's in the color All Natural. It's a bit beat up from being in my makeup bag, but I love it. I'm not really one to sit and blend powder shadow. I'm just lazy and I don't have time. And I also like an effortless look. And so I have found that this is such a great natural eyeshadow color. And it really gives, it almost looks like you have done all the blending and all the work without having to have done it. I just go in and I put this all over my eye, and it creates like that shadow look without having to do the work. So it also kind of just neutralizes the eye, because as you can see here, this eye is like just like redness and stuff. And then sometimes I'll even go in and just do it like all around the eye. I don't know, just kind of fun. So I'm gonna go back in with the NYX brow tint pen, and I use this as, that's why I was saying it's like a double duty. I use this as just like a really delicate wing liner, and since this is in a brown tint, I like that it looks more natural than like a stark black for my coloring. Make the like most lightest delicate line out from my natural eye line. Basically, I want it just to continue my lash line. It's hard to talk because my mouth bounces, bop, 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 like I can't keep a straight line. Hold on. So I do this almost in lieu of like a powder line. This is my answer to powder line. I just want it to be the softest, most natural little bit of liner that it can be. And I just do that really, really delicately. And I only go from about half of the eye out. Now I'm gonna highlight, the other question I got a lot yesterday was which highlighter I was using yesterday, and I was using the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. I'm using them in the color Sunlight. So when we finally went on our date, he just said, like, we kind of started our whole thing out being like, well, we're both extra. And he's like, I really want to plan something special. Like, you just seem special and I want to swing bigger for you. So he had planned this whole special, thoughtful date. I was so nervous leading up to it. It was like a week lead time. Sometimes it's too much when you have a week, right, between when you are talking and then when they finally, you go out. It's like too much to think about, too much. I was so nervous I could hardly contain myself. My friend had to come over and get ready with me. I will tell more about this. I don't know, this wasn't the specific question, but long story short, we had a first date and I was like, I don't think I'm into him. I don't think there was a spark. Like, there's like a little gnat around here. Get out of here. I'll tell it, get out and stay out. Anyway, I'm gonna go with my highlighter now. Again, this is the Cover FX. just gonna take a few drops. I like to just like let the dropper go off, and then I'll just do a few dots here and like a little dot here and here, just kind of really light and gentle. Sometimes I'll put it on my hand and apply it that way, it just depends, but I like to just, you really don't need much. A little goes a long way, and since I mix this with my foundation already, I feel like it just creates like an all over like glow from within kind of vibe. Can you see just how pretty and natural that is? I really, really love it. And I'll just go and just do a little here as well. It's blending out really nicely. So we went on our first date, and it was like so cute and thoughtful, but it wasn't even too much over the top, and I like that kind of stuff. But like when someone is that vulnerable and they really just show up and hope that you're gonna like them, I think I wasn't used to that. I think I was attracted to unhealthy things still. And anyway, after our first date, we didn't kiss. I didn't want to. I was just like, you know, I don't think that I'm physically attracted to him. I wish I was. He seems like a great guy. So I put it on Instagram. I told everybody everything, and everybody was like, give him another chance, give him another chance. So I was thinking about it, and I ended up telling him like, listen, I had so much fun. That was so thoughtful of you. So sometimes I go in and do a little bit of highlight here on my Cupid's bow, and then I'll just do a tiny bit on the tip of my nose as well. And it just, I feel like it just makes your whole face look like it's glowing, if you can see that like really natural glow. So I told him like, hey, because he kept saying like, hey, when can you get together again? When do you get together? I was like, oh, I'll know my schedule more later. I kind of kept putting him off. And then I was like, listen, I had so much fun. This date was so thoughtful. Like, I don't want you to not plan a date like this for someone else just because it didn't work out with us. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, I just didn't feel like there was a spark, and I don't want to waste your time. You seem like a great guy, and like, I truly would want to be friends with you. I hate when people say that, but I just wanted to be honest. And he just said, like, can you FaceTime? I'd rather talk about this like, you know, in person, and I'd love to know where I went wrong, because I was really feeling like we had a vibe, and I just want to know, like, am I not self-aware enough? Like, what am I missing? And I was like, okay, fine. So we had a conversation. We talked on FaceTime, and yeah, I just said, you know, I don't know. I just didn't think like there was a physical spark and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, okay, well, I don't think you always know that after a first date, you know, but it's up to you, and I respect your decision, and, you know, I'm not going to beg. I just wanted to understand, and I don't agree, but okay. I'll respect whatever you want. And then he said, if you change your mind, let me know. I'd love to go out with you again. So I just didn't think anything of it. And a little while later, he texted me an article from Psychology Today. The topic, like the headline was, why an initial spark is overrated and 7 reasons they might be the one or might be your person anyway. And it just made me laugh. And like, I'm so into like therapy and self-growth. I was like, dang it, like, fine, I'll go out with him one more time. Like, I just thought it was really cute, and it just worked. Okay, it worked. I also like to sometimes go in and just do like a little dropper just right at the interior of my, right here, my like near my tear duct. I kind of messed that one up a little. Just a little. I just think it adds like a little bit of glow. I just think it kind of opens your eye up a little bit. So yeah, I'll blend it out a little better, but that's about that. So I decided to go out with him for a second date, and I didn't have any expectations. He showed up a little more confident. I think he was kind of like, what have I got to lose at this point? I asked him, I said, let's just do something a little more casual. I just didn't want him to go to the trouble of planning like a special date if I wasn't gonna like him. So he said, he's like, well, I had something planned for us. If you think it's not casual enough, we can plan something else, but do you wanna know what it is? And I was like, sure. So he had planned for us to go in Echo Park here in LA. There's these swans that are on this lake, and you can like little paddle boats, and they light up at night. And so he had planned for us to do like a nighttime paddle boat ride. I just thought it was so cute. So what really got me is that he's so thoughtful. All I've ever wanted is a relationship that's like ridiculously romantic. I love like cute dates and stuff like that. It's just genuinely who I am as a person. I'm extra, and I always wanted somebody. I feel like I've always created that magic in my previous relationships. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about this, but I realized like the common denominator in all my relationships, that the things that I liked were almost always me, in that I created these experiences and planned these fun trips and did these things that created this environment for that. So to have somebody participate and do that for me felt completely new and different and so special. So he showed up, and immediately he had like a swagger of a man who knew he got a second chance. I just was like, okay, I see you. And he was dressed a little differently, and I just felt like he was more confident. I don't know, it just was different. The energy was way different. Also, maybe there wasn't as much of a buildup. I didn't have any expectations. I think that also could be part of it. I'm gonna go in and do my mascara now. This is Lancome Lashy Doll, and I love this mascara. I actually got sent this in a PR kit, and I loved it so much that I tried to prolong it with that TikTok trick of putting like eye drops in it. Emily taught me that. And then I also loved it so much that when that even wasn't working anymore, I just went and bought more at Ulta when I bought more of that It Cosmetics foundation. So it's just really great. It has this like curved, and I've been using other mascaras. It never transfers, it never runs. It's incredible. I don't even know if this is the waterproof formula, and it just still is that good. So I'm just gonna go in. If you want to know any other like tips and tricks of things I've been doing, I've been using like a lash serum that's helped my lash grow a little more, etc, etc. I can do like maybe like one about like life-changing beauty products, whether it's that under eye cream or the under nose cream or whatever. I can do that too if you want it. But I stopped wearing lash extensions during the pandemic, and I don't think I'm ever gonna go back. I just kind of like the way natural lashes look better now. So I'll show you, I'll do one eye with this and then show you how it looks compared to the other eye. So here is my here's my lashes with the Lashy Doll on this side and not on this side. So I think it's pretty good. I guess lashes plural. Anyway, so all my lashes are done now. So after that experience, I asked everyone for a code name for him because there was another guy, we called him Beach Boy, another guy we called, like I used to have code names for the guys that I was going on dates with so that I could talk about them on Instagram without like busting out their identity. So I had everybody vote, and overarchingly, everybody came up with the name Sparky for him because I didn't think there was a spark, and joke's on me. So somebody asked, you and Sparky still joke about that? A little bit. The last step, we're just gonna do lips, and then we're done. Okay, so the next question is, are you in love with Sparky? When will you start referring to Sparky by his first name after I've actually introduced him and decided he's gonna stick around a while? Are you in love with Sparky? I have very strong feelings for him, and I don't know if you guys have ever like felt this, but sometimes when you're dating someone, like you kind of in your head, you're like, oh my gosh, I love you, or you think you love them. We both had really strong feelings very early on, and we're very intentional about, we almost set some goals that we thought we should surpass before we were allowed to say those words. Early on, he also proposed this thing called the 5 and 10 rule, which I'm gonna talk to you about in a second, because someone has said, have you been intimate with Sparky? And the other person says, all the questions, everyone wants to know, have you been intimate with Sparky? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it not there yet? To answer all those questions, yes, someone else said TMI, but have you with emojis? Oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm so like squeamish about this stuff. I need to grow up. But okay, back to the 5 and 10 rule. So early on, like it was I want to say it was our 3rd or 4th date. He had said, have you ever heard of the 5 and 10 rule? And I said, no, what's that? And he said, he's been doing some research about what makes a healthy relationship. He's been very intentional in saying like, I'm not looking to date. I'm looking for my partner, and I'm looking for something, which I really liked about him from the beginning because I felt the same way. We've both been through like heartbreak situations, and we've both been through similar situations, and so we both wanted to be careful with each other's hearts and be very intentional about where this relationship is going. So he proposed this rule where you wait at least 5 dates before you're intimate and at least 10 dates before you try to define the relationship. And our second date was crazy. We went on the paddle boats, and we came back to my house and had a fire and stuff outside, and ended up just talking and chatting, and like we kissed, we made out all night until the sun came up, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, how is it morning? We had coffee and he went home, but it was like the time flew, and all of a sudden the sun was up. And that happened several more dates. We ended up spending a lot of time together, even though it wasn't number dates wise a lot, it was a lot of time together, but it felt really good and natural. And on date 4, he said that he wasn't seeing anyone else, and that he wasn't putting pressure on me, but that he wasn't going to be seeing anyone else. And that made me feel really comforted as somebody who has gone through a lot of relationship trauma. Like someone who is honest and intentional and forthcoming has been really, really cool. So to answer the question, I'm obviously delaying. Yes. Yes, we have been abiding by those rules. He asked about defining the relationship, but on date, I can't remember, but he asked me to be his girlfriend, and officially, like, you know, we officially are a couple, and you know, couples do things. If you want to talk more juicy stuff like that, I will. I'm easing into it. But yes, and if we're still feeling the heat after the New York trip, if you guys missed all the drama about the New York trip, oh my gosh, it was all over my Instagram stories. Make sure you follow along because I really gave a really play-by-play there. Maybe I will put that in a highlight, or I can share more about dating stuff here as well. Maybe I can just do like a weekly dating update. If that's something you're interested in, just let me know as part of my vlogs. I don't know. But we had a really crazy experience in New York, and just travel-wise, and I got to see him stress, and it was not the trip we had all imagined that it would be. And we still had fun. We still laughed through it, and I'm still Jess is like attracted to him, and like we still are. I feel like we're very, like, we have a lot of like passion and fire in the relationship, but it's also very healthy. There's all those memes going around about like, I want toxic relationship sex with like, but a healthy relationship kind of thing. And I think that that's my goal as well. And I feel like we have like that passion and that intimacy and all of that, but it's like, it stems from a healthy partnership. Before, I felt like sometimes relationships, that's all they had, or that's what you wanted them, or it just wasn't in a healthy dynamic. And I feel like the more we get to know each other, the more vulnerable, I can't say vulnerable today, the more vulnerable we are with each other, and the more real, the more I get to know him, I am just as attracted to him, and I feel so safe and comfortable with him that it allows me to feel safer being intimate. It's a really cool dynamic that I've never experienced before, and we talk a lot about it. We're really intentional. We're both like studying things. He's got me on 90 Day Fiance watching these reaction videos by a psychologist, and we talk about like attachment styles and relationship stuff, and it's been really cool and really special. So I'm done sweating, and maybe I can do a video where I get hyped up and take a shot of tequila and get more into those details. I'm just new about talking about this stuff. Anyway, yeah, there's a whole nother, that's a whole nother topic of conversation, I feel like. But yes, someone else asked about the shower in New York. Let's just say things didn't go as planned, but we enjoyed the room and had a lot of fun there. And the shower was like a whole room. It was really cool. Actually, someone just asked, what lipstick do you use? It looks like a nude color and it's good looking. Well, thank you. So obviously I have that melasma. I covered up really well. I love using Charlotte Tilbury has a lip cheat, and maybe it's Pillow Talk. I'm not sure what color it is. I don't think it's in here. I misplaced it somehow, I think. And I don't know where it is right now. So if I can find that, I'll let you know. But there are like 3 or 4 different lip colors that I think are the most perfect nude that I use every day. And I kind of like, as I run out of one, move to the other. So there's one MAC lip liner that I love. There is a Charlotte Tilbury that I love. There is a Bare Minerals lipstick in the shade Petal that I love. But most recently, I'll show you what I've been using every day. And it's honestly mostly just because that's the most accessible thing like that I have in front of me. I switch things. I'm not organized. If you want to see this, my makeup bag is a mess. I have it all scattered around. I'm gonna do a makeup bag clean out and add some new items in. And if you guys want to watch like my closet or makeup bag clean out, let me know. Here we go. So, there's also a Laura Mercier that I love. So I've been using Laura Mercier longwear lip liner in the color Plum Berry. I think it like is a really nude natural. As you can see, I look like Cindy Lou Who when I do that. I don't know why I did that. But it's like, it's also like a laze about I don't want to sharpen it sometimes. So let me see if I can get some more of this out without cutting my lip open. No, it's going. So I'll show you. Yeah, see, that's, it's not precise because I need to sharpen it. And I obviously can't be bothered to do that right now because I'm just like, I'm a messy person, okay? I'm not a YouTube freaking beauty guru. Bye. Okay, but you can see the color. If you want a video about like my best of favorites for stuff like this, I'm happy to share it. And then I've been using this NARS Sex Machine, LOL. We were just talking about that. Velvet Matte Lip Pencil. And I got this, it was at Ulta, and it was just like one of the cheapy things that you get. It's not cheap, but you know, like, just like travel size little dude on the way out or whatever. And I just like saw it and I was like, oh, why not? I'm always looking for the perfect like lip color. And they say to like match your lip color with your nipple. Please hold, I'll tell you if it's accurate. Pretty accurate. TMI? Whatever, we're here. So I just putting this over this. I've never used these in combination, but we are today. But I just like to keep my lips really just natural, nude, not even really shiny. Cause I just think, I don't know, I like the whole face to kind of just be really, look like I'm not wearing makeup. So this is the final look. Sometimes I will add like a dab of like gloss just on the high, like the middle parts of the lip to kind of get them to pop. I have this NARS lipstick. So when I got that little kit at Ulta, it had this guy and this guy. And this is the shade Afterglow, and it's a lip balm. So it's not even a lipstick. So this is gonna give just a tiny bit of shine. So if you like to put a little shine like at your Cupid's bow and at the fullest part of your bottom, do you see how that kind of gives the illusion of like your lips look so much bigger? And that's it. So that is my everyday beauty look. I'll see if there's any other last minute juicy questions. I'm gonna finish with this Bea Daily Hydrating Mist again. There's one by Pixie. There's a million different mists that you can use. I don't know if any of them are that much better than others. If you think there is a really, really good one that I need to try, please let me know. What are best friends for? You need to share with me too, please. Thank you. Sometimes you guys make great recommendations in the comments, and for that I thank you. All right, let's see if there are any more juicy questions. I'm sure there's gonna be more that I missed because I only just put this up like an hour ago. So somebody said, we gotta see your stepmom. When will your real mom be visiting? Sad story, my mom has not visited me since I've lived in LA. I'd really, really love her to. I think like family issues are a whole nother layer of like my self-healing and stuff that I've been working through. And I love my mom dearly, but she has not, unfortunately, visited here, and hopefully she'll get to soon. But if, I don't know, like family dynamics are like a whole nother layer of like healing and trauma and stuff that I've been working through. What's your personal opinion on body hair on male and females? I say do what you want. Feel good about yourself, whatever works for you. Like I personally like a guy with like a little chest hair and a little body hair. Like that's what's attractive to me. I've been with guys that are very groomed or don't have hair, and I prefer to have a little bit of that. But I think everyone should do what's right for them. Like I don't think women need to shave their armpits or shave their pubes or whatever. You don't have to groom down there. Like whatever feels good to you is what you should do, and I think that that's what everything should move towards. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, but again, your body is your body. I don't think that should be a personal opinion. I think that should be a non-negotiable, that, you know, everyone has agency over their own bodies in every way, shape, and form, whether that's, you know, their body shape or their reproductive rights. Like everybody has a right over their own body, and that's how it should be, in my opinion. This has been one of the biggest other questions I get all the time. Does Sparky follow me on IG? Does he know your Instagram handle and can look at you? So I have asked him respectfully not to watch my social media because I let him know that this is the kind of stuff I talk about. He said he's okay with me identifying him as Sparky. He's okay with me talking about it as long as I keep something special between the two of us, which obviously like there's so many intimate details and so many things that I don't share because, you know, you don't. But I also let him know that like a really big important part of my life is that I have this online community and that you guys are such an important part of my life, and I'm never going to not be able to talk. Like if there's anything going on that I don't think I can share with you guys, then maybe I should look at that thing, right? Because there shouldn't, I feel like before I've had so many secrets in my relationships and so many things I wasn't allowed to share, and I just never want to feel like that again. I think it is a delicate balance and it's different for everyone, and some people like to be more private and some people are more open, but I have found so much healing and growth through, I guess, feeling less alone, and through all of us sharing this journey together, and through being able to share my truth and feel validated and learn to trust myself, and I guess being as vulnerable as I can be with this community. And in turn, so many of you are vulnerable with me, and it makes me feel less alone, and I think it makes us all realize that nobody has it all together. We're all figuring it out, and we can all uplift and support and send each other love and hold space for each other. Someone asked about my black strappy sandals. Someone asked about a few other things, so maybe I'll do a separate video. I don't know if you guys have any other questions, put them below. I can do like a question on question. So maybe part 2 would be questions based on this. If you have more questions, feel free to comment below, and I can make a whole nother video from YouTubers' questions, because these all came from Instagram. So yeah, I think that that's most of the ones that I got within the last hour. That's it. I guess that's video. So I will link all the products that I use below. And this is just, yeah, my natural, everyday, glowy makeup routine. I hope you guys like this video. If you're new here and you like this video, please subscribe, hit that little bell so you never miss a video. If you are a returning BFF, I hope that you liked this video. This is a little bit of a different format for me. I haven't really done anything like this, so let me know if you like this video, or if you just prefer the hauls and try-ons. I don't know, I'd love to share anything you guys want me to share, so let me know how I can best serve you, what other videos you want to see, and I'm just so excited to have you all here. Thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. I have so much fun making these videos for you, reading the comments, engaging with you guys, chatting with you over in the DMs on Instagram, and I'm just so grateful just that you get to be a part of my journey and I get to be a part of yours. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.